And Graeme Forsyth back here on Amateur Sports TV for this edition of Coffee with Graeme. And if you guys were joining us at 10 a.m., we were dealing with some technical difficulties, but we think we got it figured out here. And for the second time ever on Coffee with Graeme, we are live on our Facebook and YouTube. So for everyone that is planning to tune into today's live broadcast, thanks so much. It means so much to us here at Amateur Sports TV, and we're excited to get going. And our guest for today's show is Jamie Corbett. He's the new head coach of the MMJHL Fort Garry / Fort Rouge Twins, and he decided to take the coaching job that was vacant for the 2020-21 season in the MMJHL. And Jamie, this isn't his first rodeo with the Twins. It is his first time with the Twins, but it isn't his first rodeo as a coach, as he has plenty of experience. He's coached at the club level, the AA level, the City AAA Midget level, and the AAA Provincial level as well. And he also had a chance to be an assistant coach. He has some managing experience and some head coaching experience. Well, not head coaching experience, but assistant coach and managing experience in the junior A level as well. And right now we bring in Mr. Corbett right now. And Corbett, can you hear me, Jamie?
Absolutely, Graeme. Good morning.
Good morning, Jamie. And I see that you're not in a house right now. You're actually in a car. Where are you right now?
We're sitting in a work truck at a job site, just doing some disaster restoration cleanup. Happy to take some time out of there, though.
Awesome. And I had a chance to talk to you on the weekend. We were trying to set something up on the weekend to do this, but we decided to do it live because you really didn't have time with all the work you were doing. So what exactly is disaster restoration work?
Well, basically when your basement floods or your sewer backs up or a tornado goes through your house, we're the ones there that come in and kind of pick up the pieces for you and get your place back to hopefully a livable condition.
And it's awesome to see that you're doing this type of work because it's helping out families in need for sure. So how much pride do you take in being able to help out families in need like that?
I mean, that's obviously the most rewarding part of doing this is, helping them through what is usually a pretty difficult, stressful time. And yeah, we're just fortunate, we got a good staff here to work with, and everybody kind of has the same goals, kind of like a hockey team. Makes life easier when everybody's pulling the same way.
That's great to hear for sure. So we're going to move away from what you do for work, which is disaster restoration. It's awesome to see that, but going to move into your playing career a bit. You didn't play past midget, but you played a lot of hockey growing up. When did you start playing hockey exactly?
I was asthmatic when I was very young, so I didn't start playing till I was 12 or 13. And, I wish I could have started earlier, but my health just didn't allow it. And, so I played up until midget was done. And by then I kind of knew the market for short, slow wingers probably wasn't what it needed to be for me. So, I really loved the game, had a passion for the game, and just made the decision to start coaching right away so I could stay involved.
And you told us that you're asthmatic. What exactly is asthmatic? Is that a condition?
Yeah, that's just a medical condition, difficulty breathing at times. It's not so bad now, but when I was a kid, it was pretty bad.
So what were some of the hurdles that you had to get over with that condition being asthmatic? I'm sure that, as you hinted at, it's hard, as you said, it's hard to breathe out there on the ice, but what are the other challenges that condition brought for you on the ice?
The biggest thing is the breathing and just being able to be aware of when it's coming before it gets there, and being able to medicate properly. I mean, at the end of the day, I've coached numerous players who are asthmatic. Every team I've ever coached, there's some kids with inhalers, and they make do.
Nice. And it got a lot better as you got older.
Definitely.
Great.
Kind of grown out of it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So you started your coaching career at a pretty young age. You said that you wanted to stay involved with the game, and you started right after you finished your playing career in minor hockey. So You started with a club in Charleswood in 1999. You told me that the other day. What level of hockey was that? Was that single A?
I believe it was midget A2 if I recall correctly. And so it was club hockey. It was but for me, like, having not coached, it was just great to get out there and get to see what works and what doesn't work. I was fortunate enough. It was actually Jeff Svensson, who's coaching the Winnipeg Bruins right now, who kind of gave me the opportunity. And, we had the opportunity the year before last to coach against Jeff in a game when I was coaching out in the Interlake. And he was, again, coaching the Bruins. So, it kind of came full circle. He gave me my first opportunity. And, 18 or 19 years down the road, we're opposite benches. And, I think it was nice to see things come full circle that way.
That's great. And did you start off as a head coach, or were you an assistant coach?
I was a head coach at first, and then I, as I kind of moved forward, when I got up to AAA, spent some time as an assistant coach, some time as a head coach. It's been, I think any coach who takes pride in what they're doing will tell you they're always learning, and getting to coach with different personalities, different coaching styles, is what makes us better. We learn new things. We're always learning, always trying to improve, and different people have different ideas.
And what were the things you learned about yourself early on as a coach?
Well, I mean, just what works with, and obviously when I started coaching, I wasn't a parent, but a lot of the things that I thought might work might not have seemed to work the right way for parents now. And now as a parent, you look back and you go, oh, some of the things you tried, I can't believe I tried that or thought that might work. But that's just age and experience. And, you take the time and you make enough mistakes. We learn and we get better by making mistakes. That goes for the players. Any coach who tells you he doesn't make mistakes, you know what? He's probably not being straight with you.
And starting off at such a young age, there's always tendencies with coaches, either the coaching style that they bring upon themselves or other things involved in the game. What were some of the tendencies that you kind of played off of at the start of your career?
Well, I think at the start, I think it's pretty cut and dry. At the start, I was a lot more vocal, a lot more bark, and looking back, in today's game, in today's world, that doesn't work so much anymore with kids nowadays. I'm not really sure that it really worked all that well then either. I think I'm a lot quieter now. We still demand a lot out of our athletes, but the way we go about getting it out of them has definitely changed over the last 20 years or so. I mean, even at the NHL level, you're starting to see a shift in how guys handle players. Kids are different these days, and they're brought up different than we were, and they respond different. You can't walk into a room and start barking at everybody. Or if you can, you got to limit it 1 or 2 times a year, maybe, because kids will just tune you out.
And was it an easy adjustment for you to take that? Because you said you were pretty loud, you had a lot of bark as a coach, but how was that adjusting to that?
I think it was kind of it was more of a gradual thing. And, as I touched on earlier, I think, just becoming a parent kind of changes your perspective, whether you mean for it to or not. That definitely helps. And I think that went a long way in it. I coached up to the AAA level. And then when I had kids, I kind of took a step back and started coaching my own kids back at the 7-8 house league. And, that just gives you a whole different perspective on everything. I'm glad I had the chance to do it. I'm very fortunate. I've had the chance to watch my kids play. And, part of the reason for coming back to Fort Garry this year is it's going to give me a little more time at home. My son has 2 years of midget left, so I'm going to get to see more hockey. Unfortunately, over the last 2-3 years, I probably haven't got to see as much of his hockey as I would have liked to, just with being on the road in the MJ, a lot of travel. Last year I was commuting from Winnipeg to Winkler, so it was a lot of drive time. So I didn't get to see him play as much as, I'm sure he'd like and I'd like. So it'll be nice this year getting to see him play a fair bit more.
So that was one of the biggest reasons you decided to take the head coaching position with Fort Garry.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons. Family time, being able to be home a little more is nice. Focus on work, my day job a little more is a nice benefit to it. Jamie and Kim and the ownership group with Fort Garry, they made me feel really welcome. I think their view of what we needed to change there kind of matched how I like to do things. So all in all, I thought it was a really good opportunity. I'm excited to get to work with a new group of guys. Some of them I'm familiar with. I've coached in the past, but for the most part, an entirely new group. We're going to be likely a younger team this year, but that doesn't mean our expectations aren't high. When we step on the ice, I think everyone's there for the same reason. We want to put some wins on the board.
And before we move into what you expect going into this year with the Fort Garry Twins, we're going to talk about the places you've coached, because you've coached at the AA level, the City Midget level of the AAA level, the Provincial AAA level, and the Junior A level as well. So starting off with your time with the APHA AA Rangers in the AA Hockey League in Winnipeg, obviously moving up from the club level, that's maybe not a big jump, but it's a jump for sure.
It's a different commitment level. Expectations are certainly raised. Obviously you have parents making a fairly substantial investment in their kids' sports, and they have higher expectations. And perhaps when I was a little younger, I maybe didn't realize that and appreciate that as much as I do now. But it's definitely there. And, the kids deserve it. They deserve their coaches to be as bought in as they are. And I think for the most part, we do a very good job of that in Winnipeg at the AA level. Got a lot of really passionate coaches who are either content being there and they're doing it because they love it, or like me, they want to move forward and they're trying to get better too.
And just talking about the experience you had at the club level, how did that carry over to your time with the AA Rangers?
Well, I think we're always learning, how people work and how people tick. And as much as the X's and O's change a little bit here and there, as coaches, how we treat people, how we handle people, how we get the most out of people, I think is the biggest thing, I bring to the table, is being able to get the most out of guys. And I can't do that if I don't take the time to get to know them. And that doesn't matter if it's the club level or the AA level or the AAA level or the Junior A level. Players' confidence. I mean, we've all seen it, and it doesn't matter what sport it is. An athlete who's not confident isn't going to be successful. And if a kid's getting dumped on all the time, the chances of him being confident aren't very high. So, and then, maybe that happens, and then we sit there and say, well, little Billy's not performing. So, but maybe it's our fault. Maybe we're not getting to him in a way that is going to get the most out of him. And so I think right through the AA, AAA club hockey levels, I mean, that's the biggest takeaway I would take, is just learning different ways to deal with different personality styles and different learning styles. And, too many teachers will go and they'll put the lesson on the board and you're either going to get it or you're not. Well, if we have to explain the lesson 6 different ways for 6 different learning styles, if that's going to give us success, that's what me and my staff are going to do. We're going to explain it so you get it. And otherwise, you're choosing not to get it. That's a different story altogether.
And just talking about the regular seasons that you had with your time there, because you said that you spent 3 years coaching at the AA level for the Rangers. Just talk about some of the ups and downs. You've talked about a lot how it's been learning experiences are probably the biggest takeaway you have from it all. But what were the ups and downs on the ice out there with the in-game changes, the in-game adjustments?
Oh, I mean, every season for the most part is a roller coaster, right? There's highs and lows. You win games and you're not happy with how you played. You lose games, but you're happy with how you played. And I think that the biggest thing we look for with our guys is just seeing progress. at the AA and AAA level, everyone makes the playoffs. The trick is to be ready when playoffs start. No one cares who's in first place at Christmas. Would it be nice to be there? Of course. But the reality is that doesn't really mean much. So, yeah. I think the biggest thing to learn there is it's a marathon, not a sprint. And, celebrate the little victories. Don't dwell on the failures, learn from them, and just keep getting better and try and be at your best when playoffs start.
And how would that preparation look like going into the playoffs for you and your team in those 3 years?
In those 3 years, knowing what I know now, obviously I would have prepared a lot different. But again, it's just a matter of having your team believing in what one goal. And if you have 20 kids pulling 20 different ways, I don't care how skilled you are, the chances of you being successful are very slim. If we have 20 guys who maybe aren't as talented, but they're all pulling the same way, and they believe in themselves and they believe in each other, you can make anything happen.
And did you find that with all those things considered that you guys got the best out of your players come playoff time in those 3 years?
Hello?
Can you hear me,
Hello?
Jamie? We're seeming to have more technical difficulties here.
Absolutely.
Oh,
We had, I'm trying to think back there. You're pushing my memory to it. Yeah, you're pushing my memory to its limits. Hello?
and we did just lose Jamie here on the network, and we apologize for all the technical difficulties today. It's not often we go live here on Amateur Sports TV. It's unfortunate that we have had trouble connecting with Jamie today. But it's been nice to talk with Jamie so far, and I'm just going to get rid of this here. But we have been live on our Facebook and YouTube page at Amateur Sports TV. You guys be sure to follow us there if you want to stay up to date with all the coverage we got here on the network. We're going to try to get Jamie back in studio in just a moment in this broadcast. But if you guys are looking for other shows to watch here on Amateur Sports TV, there's plenty of shows that we'll be bringing to you guys. One of them is On the Ice, and I think it airs Monday, Wednesday, every Monday and Wednesday. I think that's when On the Ice airs, but I'm not too sure. I might be wrong on that, but it's with Theo Tukiluk. I think I pronounced that name right. Sorry, Theo, if I pronounced the name wrong, but Jamie Corbett's been joining us here on this edition of Coffee with Graeme so far, and it's so unfortunate that we've had these technical difficulties today. We're going to, well, I'd say we take a quick commercial break, but we don't take commercial breaks live. So, just stand by for just a moment. We're going to try to get Jamie back on stream here, but you've been joining Coffee with Graeme here on Amateur Sports TV with your host, Graeme Forsyth, and we'll be back in just a moment. You guys are going to see a blue screen here in just a moment, but we're going to try to get Jamie back right now. If not, we're going to have to sign off for today. And yeah, just a moment. So yeah, unfortunately, we are having too many connection problems. It's just not going to work out today, but hey, like Jamie said, sometimes you have the good days, sometimes you have the bad days, and you learn from it. And we'll be learning from this experience for sure. We apologize to all the supporters that came out to watch the show today for disappointing you. It's very unfortunate that we had these problems live. It's not often that we go live, so it's very unfortunate that we had these problems. But until next time, I've been your host, Graeme Forsyth of Coffee with Graeme. And before we let you go, we're going to bring you guys another edition of Championship Rewind coming this Thursday. And that one will not have any technical difficulties. We can guarantee that. And be sure to tune in for that, because we start interviewing our next portion of Championship Rewind with Mountain Mustangs head coach Chad Foster, and he starts off the era for the Mountain Mustangs on Championship Rewind. And in the next 3 weeks, we'll be looking back at the Mountain Mustangs championship season. And be sure to look for all other great shows that we have coming here on the network. And we do see that we got a like here. We do appreciate the support. But I've been your host, Graeme Forsyth. Once again, sorry for all the technical difficulties today, but we'll learn from it. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Have a good one. I'm Graeme Forsyth, signing off.